Welcome, 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 everyone. Your host, Cy Smith, coming to you on a oh wow, what is all this stuff? Coming to you on a fourth Tuesday of the month. Every fourth Tuesday of the month is our Education Day, and I'm going to be discussing STL St. Louis. We'll give people 5 minutes to get on, so it's 7 o'clock on the dot, and we're going to give people to 7:05. If no one gets on at 7:05, what I'm going to do is present, and then we're going to get off the phone, respect people's time that may be watching. But in a nutshell, every fourth Tuesday is the St. Louis, Missouri Concentration Day. We turn all our attention to St. Louis nationally. So we this month, Gary, Indiana is on tour. So our people in Gary are being spoken to about St. Louis. If they have any family and friends in St. Louis, our people in Chicago is being spoken about St. Louis. Do they have any family and friends in St. Louis? And so forth all over the country. So that is a every fourth Tuesday of the month operation. That's what happens there. And the reason we want to do that is because in our position as African Americans, it's important that we don't set ourselves up for people that don't want to see our community free, being able to infiltrate and come in and hurt any type of leader who's leading the people away from being dependent on this system now. So by having every fourth Tuesday, which is time, there's no stopping it, because if the great people of St. Louis agree that every fourth Tuesday they're going to get together, the enemy don't know where they're getting together at, therefore they can't target them. So by having almost everything we do associated with repeating times, it makes it easy for us to not have the oppressors try to stop us. Who just joined us?
Governor Price.
Hey, what's up, Governor?
Sorry about that. How are you?
Are you able, you're not able to see me? You can just hear me, right?
Right.
Okay. And the good news is we this is being recorded, so it will be on YouTube, and so you'll be able to watch it later on YouTube. And so I want to make sure I told everyone at in 5 minutes, if no one gets on, I'm just going to go through the presentation, so it'll at least be there for people to watch it after today. So for those who don't know you, Jennifer, you mind sharing who you are and what do you do?
Sure, no problem. My name is Jennifer Price, Governor over zip code 60644, St. Louis and Mississippi. And on top of that, I am pretty much a screenwriter and all that other good stuff. Mother of 7 children who are entrepreneurs and all that good stuff.
And I'm glad you put the children piece in there, because I think especially moms who might say, well, how do you do it? That they need to hear that and be able to reach out to me to get in touch with you so they can gain some perspective, if you will. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Before we get started on the St. Louis end, let's just make sure our audience know Chicago has had in the last month or so teenagers downtown wreaking a lot of havoc on downtown Chicago. And recently in St. Louis, they had a bunch of teenagers in St. Louis downtown by the Garter Arch wreaking havoc. What's your thoughts? What's your perspective on what you've seen downtown Chicago?
What I've witnessed, and then also too, just not looking at it, but being around it, I just feel like the youth are being ignored in certain areas. They should have equal, like anyone else. They should be able to have jobs and make money. They should be able to have time to where they can, express things and also get paid for it. Just like when we as adults go to work and we put in our work, we can get paid for that. They don't get paid. They don't get jobs. They don't get opportunities. They don't get the same thing as most people. And that's what I see. They want the same thing. They want to be able to have good things, good jobs, enjoy their area. It's just sad when you go and look at the area that they live in. It's horrible. It's just I just feel bad, and just also to see them on the news and how they're lying out there in front of City Hall, and they're
Yeah.
asking for help and want to be heard. They're not being heard. That's what makes me mad. They're never heard. If we listen to them and let them express what they need to express, then instead of assuming it, then we probably can make a big difference for them.
Well,
That's what I
speaking, yeah, and you're speaking from a mother of, like you said, 7. So you may have a little more compassion than others would. Let me play devil's advocate to you. All right.
Mhm.
So you say they need things to do in their community. They need to be paid. Um, when I was coming up, I'm 47. I was born in 1975. We had limited opportunities as well. We had limited resources, and the values though was still enough intact where we made sure that we moved over when a woman was walking down the street. We made sure that we walked close to the curb when there was a female, so that if a car jumped the curb, it would hit us and not the lady. We didn't curse around women and children, even though we were children. So I get it. All the resources, we need that. But what do you say about just decency and values? Like, are the centers and jobs going to create values and decency?
uh, well, some people may get offended when I say, my son and I were talking earlier. My son is 27, and he had told me, he said the decisions that I made for him when he was younger, he didn't understand them until now, because I didn't want him to get involved with all the riffraff out here. So I had made him go to Louisiana, and that pulled him away from here, especially when you don't have any, I feel, when you don't have any grown men that will take these young men. But then again, you can't even say that, because you have some men that just don't care about their own
Responsible grown men, right?
right. They don't even care about their own situation. So how can they tell them anything? And I see a lot of that. And what upsets me is when I come around, all I smell is nothing but weed. Weed, weed, weed. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't go in any other area smelling it. It's like we just don't care about how we keep our area, our community. It just look any kind of way. We do any kind of thing, and it makes us look bad. There's nobody that care about these young men. They don't say, hey, you know what, come here, let me sit down and talk to you. And the ones that I spoke with, they told me the reason why they do the things that they do, because their fathers are not in their lives. And what I would say on that, even if the mother is not with the father, they still should be present in these kids' life. That has nothing to do with them. These kids didn't ask to come here, so they should not be like rejected because me and your mom not together. That's not fair. So
You sound like
huh?
you sound like
Sorry.
you agreeing with what I was saying though. Like that's what it sounds like.
I agree with what you're saying. Yes, but I'm upset and angry too. Yeah, I agree. I do. But what upsets me is when men gonna take accountability for not being a part of their kids' lives and show them.
Yeah.
Because that's what these young men are talking about. They're like, that my daddy don't care about me. He's not in my life. So yeah, I gotta help my mom. She's out here struggling, so I have to go out here and sell drugs to help her. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I cannot stand it.
So no, so and now this is recorded, so I'm glad we didn't put no names out there and all that stuff. So we're gonna get into the presentation with St. Louis, and it's gonna come right back to what you and I are talking about with the young people. So for all our great people of STL, St. Louis, Missouri, primarily zip code 63120, zip code 63120, primary zip code that we operate in. National Block Club University whole focus is about stopping this violence that we see. And we personally, from our system and the way we operate, believe that the way we're going to really deal with this violence is not with more police, is not with more education, is not with more funding coming in, it's not with more programs. The way we're going to deal with this violence is with our lifestyle. And our lifestyle has 3 components that we focus on, and that's our habits, what we do instinctively because of repetition. It's our schedule, how we use our time, what we have to do, and it's our network, the people that we're associated with. So HSN, habits, schedule, network. And let me just tell you, to the people of St. Louis, You're in a very important position because Jennifer, who's on right now, the governor of Little St. Louis in Chicago, is being trained right now so that St. Louis young people and grown-ups will have an outlet called Little St. Louis in Chicago where they can get away. And I'm gonna tell you, my story is simple. I grew up in the projects of Chicago. It took the Navy letting me travel and get away to refocus me and to make me who I am now today. So I believe travel is therapeutic. Even rich kids, parents send them away for drug treatment when they catch them on drugs. That's what the rich people do. So if they understand the need to get their drug induced child away from that environment, who are we people of the struggle not to think that our children don't need to get away? Jennifer and I was talking about the young people downtown being shown on the news as being wild and being very obnoxious. Same in St. Louis downtown, same in Beale Street in Memphis. And in all of these cities, we hear the same thing. We need more programs, we need more funding, we need more policing. All those things can be true. But what's missing from our standpoint is our culture, which is our lifestyle, which is what's important to us, our values. And I personally, and Jennifer, I want you to chime in on this. I personally believe that if you're underexposed, you only know what you've been around. And so this is why the travel is such a big deal, because when you travel, you broaden your perspective, you broaden your lens on life. You have an opportunity to meet new people that you wouldn't have met on your block or in your neighborhood. And the more new people you meet, especially if it's people who are trying to press forward, then you're going to find yourself being inspired and motivated to press forward, because not too many people like being left behind. So what do you think about our focus and where we're trying to go? And then we'll get into some more meats and potatoes for our people in St. Louis. What do you think, Governor?
I agree. I really do agree. And you know what? Maybe right. If kids can get out of like certain areas to meet other kids and they can share things, you'll be surprised. But you'll be surprised because teaching each other things, that they're not, that they may not have ever been exposed. So like with my kids, they're entrepreneurs. They've been homeschooled. And when they meet kids that have never been homeschooled or entrepreneurs, those kids are, I want to be homeschooled. I want to be entrepreneurs, because once they hear their story and see how my kids have progressed, then they want to do that. They want to do that. So yes, if you put them around other people with different things going on then that they're probably never used to seeing or hearing about, then yeah, I would not be surprised if they want to, and then make them strive even harder and change for the better. That's how I feel. And I've witnessed that, even with me as a kid.
Yep. And to me, that's what's missing in America's dialogue when it comes to what to do with these young people. Every summer, I watch them, give them summer jobs, and it's like you just paying them to babysit them in the corner. No development, no enrichment, just you getting this paycheck, go over here and be quiet so we can get through the summer, then you go back to school. And this here is the total opposite of what we do. For the people of St. Louis, Jennifer's zip code 60644 is responsible for all the lawyers in Chicago. All lawyers in Chicago go through Jennifer and her zip code, no matter if they're on the opposite side of town or not. Because St. Louis is linked to 60644, St. Louis is the national headquarters for all lawyers in America. All lawyers go through St. Louis because St. Louis goes through 60644. Let me tell you why that matters so much. Lawyers tend to make some money. Lawyers tend to make money. So you're talking about a population, a profession that resources could be sometimes in abundance. Imagine what it looks like when all the young people get a chance to test out if they want to be an attorney in mock trials. What would happen if there's mock trials happening in zip codes all over Black America and St. Louis is putting these on? 60644 in Chicago is putting on mock trials in every Black zip code in Chicago. Think about what happens when now young people have this platform and this stage to test out their debating skills, try cases that might be relevant, something that's happening in real life. You're a playwright, Jennifer. Just imagine the storylines for these trials, and then other kids get to come and watch and be entertained and watch the skills. You got the people that want to be judges sitting and playing judge, the jury. This
Or
one thing here can give us academics, it can give us entertainment, it can allow for training and skill transfer by young people. It allows for retired lawyers to get off the sidelines and get in the game all over Black America. Just this one profession. What do you think about that?
I love it. I'm excited already. Yeah, because my son, he's going so he could be an attorney for criminal law, and he talks about it all the time. And he hangs around people, and he even have those that mentor him, judges and things like that. By me introducing, hey, my son, he's getting ready to go to law school after he finished college. Oh, well, I'll take him under my wing, right? So you have to like introduce them to those things that are different because look, these kids are not open to that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe I'm saying it wrong. They're not introduced to be open to that. They're not.
I was
So
gonna
if you
ask
put 'em
you
around,
if they see your son performing, they might not be open, but once they see how he get down, it might trigger something in them, right?
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Because the sky is the limit. You can do anything, and I agree with the lawyers, like letting the kids shadow them. You know, I think
Yep.
that'll work. I think
So
that'll work.
so
Yeah.
so that's what today represents. Every fourth Tuesday is our lawyers day because it's linked to the zip codes. So I literally been texting and communicating with the lawyers of this country today. Now, St. Louis, I definitely want you to hear me when I talk about time and how to use time, our schedule, because this is a problem that we have in Chicago and of course in St. Louis and across the country. Everyone being busy, everyone being busy. Have you seen that, Jennifer? Like a lot of people being busy these days. Have you
Yes.
personally experienced that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes,
So the
I have.
question is, what we go, if everyone is busy, then there's no time for this young people project, this youth project. So what I really believe, and I want our people in St. Louis to write this down, I believe how we use time is more important than it's ever been in society. Because back in the day, we didn't have all this technology to distract us. Our phone cord only allowed us to go 20 feet. Now you unlimited, you can go anywhere with your phone, so we're living in a time we've never seen before in mankind where people have access to you who wouldn't have never had access to you before. So with that, our time has become like overwhelmed. So what will we do different to make room for us developing our community and our young people? So what I'm about to give you is the tool that God gave us to help ensure that we have time to enrich and empower all of our neighborhoods. Let me say that again. What I'm about to give you is how what God gave us on how St. Louis 60644, all our territories can create time so that we can enrich and develop our communities and of course our young people. And what this is called the last name solution. Last name solution. Because most people have a last name. So it allows us to have something that applies to majority of the people, which is their last name. And so what we've done is we've looked at the whole year, which is 12 months. And we said, okay, since we know it's 12 months, how can we ensure coverage for whatever we're doing? Doesn't matter what it is. How do we cover the year? And we looked at a broken clock. And even a broken clock is right 2 times a day. So that means that clock doesn't have to do anything, but it's going to be right twice a day. Why? Because society is steady ticking, whether we recognize it or not. And it's going to hit that time in the AM and it's going to hit that time again in the PM. So with that in mind, and looking at St. Louis, South Austin, and seeing how busy everyone is, the question mark is, even a broken clock can do something right twice. So we believe that even the most busiest people in the world can at least 2 times out of a 12-month period do something. And so it gives us great confidence that that concept is doable because it works for something that's broken. And we think it could work for people who are busy. Let me pause there before I go into it. What do you think about that concept, that idea, Jennifer?
I agree. And you're right, because a broken clock is still going to be right twice. I agree. But yeah, we can make time. And then on top of that, you were talking about last name and everything. Yeah, that's like
Mm-hmm.
what people go by last names. And when you have certain things that are for you to get to accept, it's going by your last name. But I agree everything you're saying. I don't have no disagreements at all.
So no, I appreciate that. So this is the breakdown so people can understand how this looks. So our people in St. Louis, you definitely want to write this down because this is the actual structure, so you would know. Uh, January and July are 6 months apart. January and July. So we took last names that begin with the alphabet A all the way through E, and we attached them to January and July forever. So if your last name Davis, Ellis, it's January and not again until July. That's it. That's it. Even a broken clock can get that right. So we hope our A through E people can create time in January and in July. And it's 31 days in both those months. So in one day out of 31 days in January, one day out of 31 days in July. That's what A through E last names we hope would be open to do in St. Louis. We took last names F through K and we associated them with the next month, which is February, and 6 months later, August. February and August. So all of our last names F through K, the Jacksons, the Killers, the Killings, the Fryers, the Frasers, F all the way through K. So think about what I just shared with you. I just gave you 4 months out of 12 months. And if our people buy into that concept, we know we got staff for whatever we're working on, January, February, July, and August, just because of those last names right there. So if we're planning something, if someone get hit by a car next January, I already know who we calling to go to the hospital and check on them. It's going to be a Davis. It's going to be a Ellis because we know in January, that's who is their 6-month term. And so it gives us predictability and something that's missing in Black America because there's so much instability. Stuff can happen at any time. Here, we say we got something we can count on, which is predictable because it's every 6 months. It's a broken clock theory. So no matter what happened, we can respond. And that is powerful for St. Louis to have the whole year covered. No one caught off guard because you had 6 months to get ready. Let me pause there. What do you think about that, Governor?
I love it. I like that.
Any negatives to it? Like shoot holes through it?
Nope, none.
Okay.
None.
Excellent. So now, last names L through O. So L, M, N, and O is every March, and 6 months later, September. All right, March and September. Now, children go back to school in September. So they always talk about, hey, walk your children to school the first day. Yep. But guess what? We know last names L through O, it's their turn. So we know they're going to be out there as extra backup. Those who don't have children, but their last name is L through O, they going to be out there because they looking for how can I serve since it's my 6-month time to serve. So think about the armies that can take place in all 20 of our cities, in St. Louis, in Detroit, in Chicago, when last names L, M, N, and O is ready, when the children get ready to go back to school. That's some powerful stuff to have that degree of predictability and no burnout. No one can say, man, y'all bugging me too much. No, it's every 6 months. What do you mean? It's every 6 months. So then we had last names P, Q, and R, which is every April, and 6 months later, October. Every April and October is P, Qs, and Rs. All your Pattersons, your Rollersons, They're every April, and then 6 months later, October. Then we have this month, May, and 6 months later, November. My last name is Smith, so I'm on 6 month duty here. It's S, T, and U last names. So Sanders, Smiths. We got Taylors, Tollivers, Thompsons, Thomases, Underwoods. This is our turn this month, and not again for 6 months, which is November. So we talk about Thanksgiving. I know I'm back on in November. So again, predictability gives us predictability. It shows us how we can use time to our advantage. And the last ones is June and 6 months later, which is December. So June and 6 months later, December. Those are last names that begin with the alphabets V all the way through Z. So all your Williams, your Zieglers, it's your turn. It's your turn. So I just introduced to you guys a format, a formation, or a format that allows even the grumpy person that don't like doing nothing, we only need them to do something twice a year. And I don't know if it get any easier than that we can transform Black America with something as simple as 2 days a year. That is so mind-boggling to me, exciting to me, because like I said, even the most grouchiest person, we know we can get ready for them every 180 days. Any closing remarks on that, Governor?
No, I'm excited. I'm very excited. I like it. I like this.
So the last thing I want to talk about for St. Louis, I want to talk about the money. I want to talk about the money, because with anything, that's pretty much where the rubber meets the road. You can have a good format, you can have capacity, but the biggest thing is going to be financing so that the people can cooperate. Money is the last frontier for us. It's the final frontier. It took us 10 years to build this. It took us 10 years to staff it. And now the last 10 years is about financing it. And that's where we are. The key here is, and I can say this, I won't say which businesswoman, but I talked to a Black businesswoman in St. Louis 30 minutes before we got on this call here. And this was our first time having a chance to talk. Beautiful spirit. We're going to plug her restaurant later after I talk to her, make sure she's okay with it, but we're going to really hype her up. She's excited with this whole concept I shared with her. But I called her. I had to research, find her, then I called her. That is administrative work. I did the research, then I had to do data entry, then I had to make phone calls. And in this case, we won her over. She is open to working with what we're doing. That's a job. That's a job. And that's a job that's meaningful. That's a job that's going to have long-term impact, because we're working for her in St. Louis, all the way from Chicago, from Gary. We're doing work that's going to make St. Louis zip codes more stronger. This here is needed in every zip code all over this country. People who's going to go and research, find those Black businesses, find those carpenters, they'll find those retired lawyers, find those retired teachers. That's work. That is research work that needs to be taking place every single day. And this is why the money matters so much, because when we pull our money together, we have the work. We have the work that's forever. This information gathering is forever, because when our retired lawyers transition and move to ancestor lawyers, that information got to do something. We got to take them records and update them, because we can't call that lawyer no more. He's deceased. So now we honor that lawyer that's deceased every birthday that lawyer had. So it's still work to be done, even in death. So I just want to make sure people know, from an administrative standpoint, we have enough work to do to put young people to work all over this country, because in every city there are retired lawyers. In every city there's adult lawyers. In every city there's young people that want to be lawyers. In every other profession, someone has to organize so that we can create the jobs and put people to work, gathering that information, processing it, meaning typing it up, mailing out to them, emailing them, and then calling them and having the conversation I had with this queen in St. Louis, and winning them over so that then they can release the money back to us so we can hire more people and we can keep growing. Think about that. We got something for every young person to do in all our cities. What's missing is the money from the people so that we can pay them to do the work I just described. That's it, you guys. It's that SEC, simple, easy, and convenient, because the work is going to keep on repeating. It's a matter of, are we paying people to do the work? So the money that we got from 8 people in St. Louis paid they $12 for the year, they $1 a month. I'm going to give you a breakdown because it costs to put people to work doing the research, the processing, the reaching out to the people. So you'll see how your money went to work. And hopefully you'll be pleased and you'll tell family and friends so that we can get as many people circulating this $12 a year so we can hire people to do the work in St. Louis. Thank you guys for watching. Last word to you, Jennifer. Anything before we close out here?
I'm excited. I'm in tears. I'm excited. I just cannot wait to see how everything else is going to turn out. I just cannot. But thank you. I appreciate you very much.
And I appreciate you. You're a mom of 7. And this month is still Women's Appreciation Month. It's Mother's Day month. And I just want to say thank you for all that you do. Even if the others don't tell you, just know that, and all our moms out there, we salute you guys and know that we are working to get this thing together to make life easier and smoother for all of us. Thank you guys for watching. My number is 312-405-8844. That's 312-405-8844. Call, text. Let's just get connected because we